There is a hidden timeline behind every decision you believe you consciously make. Long before your thoughts organize into words or your intentions form into action, your subconscious mind has already begun shaping the direction you will eventually choose. This invisible process unfolds quietly through emotional memory, sensory associations, and learned expectations. It does not seek permission from logic. Instead, it prepares psychological ground that makes certain choices feel natural and others feel uncomfortable. Many women are raised to trust rational explanations for their behavior. Yet neuroscience reveals that emotional and subconscious mechanisms often initiate responses before conscious awareness can intervene. These mechanisms are not signs of weakness. They are adaptive systems designed to maintain stability. However, when left unexamined, they can also limit personal evolution and reinforce patterns that no longer align with a woman's true aspirations. Subconscious influence develops through repetition. Experiences that evoke strong emotions leave neural traces, gradually forming pathways that guide perception and expectation. Over time, these pathways become predictive. The brain begins to anticipate outcomes based on past events, shaping behavior in ways that minimize perceived risk and maximize emotional familiarity. This predictive tendency explains why certain opportunities may feel intimidating despite their potential benefits. The subconscious evaluates them not only through logic, but through emotional history. Dark psychology explores how such subconscious patterns can be influenced by external stimuli. Repeated messaging, social reinforcement, and relational dynamics can subtly shape beliefs about identity and capability. Recognizing this influence is the first step toward mental sovereignty. Awareness allows a woman to distinguish between impulses rooted in past conditioning and intentions aligned with present values. When awareness increases, decision-making slows. Instead of reacting automatically, she begins to observe internal sensations, thoughts, and emotional cues with greater clarity. This observation creates psychological space. Within that space, new interpretations become possible, reducing the dominance of habitual responses. Identity formation is deeply connected to subconscious learning. The roles a woman adopts in relationships, career, and personal life often reflect internalized expectations rather than deliberate choice. These expectations may originate from family narratives, cultural norms, or formative experiences that shaped early perceptions of worth and belonging. Neural conditioning reinforces these perceptions. Repeated behaviors strengthen connections between specific stimuli and emotional reactions, making certain identity expressions feel more authentic than others. Yet, authenticity itself can be redefined. By consciously engaging in new behaviors, she can gradually reshape neural pathways and expand the range of identities she perceives as available. This process requires patience. Subconscious patterns do not dissolve instantly. They soften through consistent exposure to alternative experiences that challenge previous assumptions. Emotional patterns also evolve through this exposure. Situations that once triggered anxiety may begin to evoke curiosity or confidence as neural conditioning adapts. Such adaptation enhances resilience. A woman becomes less constrained by past interpretations and more capable of responding creatively to present circumstances. Mental sovereignty emerges when she recognizes her role in shaping subconscious influence. By selecting environments, relationships, and information intentionally, she participates actively in identity formation. This intentional participation transforms perception. Opportunities that once felt inaccessible may become viable, while dynamics that previously felt comfortable may reveal underlying limitations. The transition towards sovereignty can feel disorienting. Familiar emotional anchors loosen, creating a temporary sense of uncertainty. Yet this uncertainty often signals the expansion of psychological freedom. During this phase, introspection becomes essential. Reflection helps integrate new experiences and prevent regression into automatic patterns driven by subconscious fear. Over time, conscious repetition strengthens new neural pathways. Behaviors aligned with growth become increasingly natural, reducing internal resistance. As resistance decreases, decision-making becomes more strategic. Choices are guided by long-term vision rather than by immediate emotional relief. This strategic orientation influences relational dynamics. Boundaries become clearer, communication more intentional, and expectations more aligned with authentic values. Others may respond differently to this shift. Some may appreciate the emerging clarity, while others may feel unsettled by the reduction of subconscious compliance. Confidence grounded in subconscious transformation differs from performative confidence. It reflects internal stability rather than external validation. This stability enhances presence. Body language, tone, and decision-making patterns subtly communicate self-trust and such responses reveal the depth of previous conditioning. Awareness allows these dynamics to be redefined in ways that support mutual respect and psychological balance. Influence naturally follows. A woman who embodies mental sovereignty often inspires others through example rather than persuasion. Despite progress, ongoing awareness remains necessary. Subconscious influences continue to evolve with new experiences, requiring periodic recalibration. Practices such as journaling, meditation, or mindful solitude can support this recalibration by providing space to examine emerging patterns. Through reflection, she refines her understanding of personal motivations and emotional triggers, enhancing strategic decisions. This refinement contributes to identity coherence. Values, behaviors, and aspirations align more consistently, reducing internal conflict. As coherence strengthens, resilience increases. Challenges become opportunities for growth rather than threats to self-definition. Such resilience supports long-term transformation. Identity evolves as subconscious conditioning is gradually replaced by intentional awareness. Over time, the distinction between subconscious impulse and conscious intention becomes clearer, allowing more deliberate navigation of complex situations. This clarity fosters autonomy. Decisions are no longer driven primarily by fear or habit, but by alignment with personal vision. Autonomy influences life trajectory. Career choices, relationships, and creative pursuits reflect evolving identity rather than inherited expectations. Each aligned decision reinforces neural patterns that support continued sovereignty, creating a positive feedback loop of growth and confidence. External responses to this transformation often validate internal progress. Opportunities expand, and interactions become more balanced. Yet transformation remains ongoing. Mental sovereignty is not a final destination but a dynamic process of awareness and intentional adaptation. Understanding that the subconscious decides long before conscious thought invites humility and responsibility. It encourages continuous engagement with inner development. For women seeking deeper insight into subconscious influence and identity evolution, structured psychological exploration can provide clarity and direction. If you feel an intuitive pull toward a more refined level of self-mastery, you may be drawn to explore the Feminine Sovereignty Protocol available through the link in the description. It is a selective pathway designed for women ready to understand their inner architecture and consciously shape the woman they are becoming.